For 30 days, Noah followed every habit he had carefully. He woke early, exercised, read, worked, and guarded his attention. At first, visible progress seemed to appear almost everywhere daily. His energy improved, his room changed, and confidence steadily grew. Then, without warning, every visible sign of progress suddenly stopped. The scale barely moved despite Noah's continued daily disciplined effort. The difficult book still felt confusing and frustrating to understand. His work looked almost identical to what he made previously. Even his regular workouts began feeling strangely dull and ordinary. Noah wondered whether all his effort had finally stopped working. Every new day looked exactly like the one before it. The excitement he felt at the beginning had completely disappeared. Only quiet repetition remained in every part of his routine. But repetition never felt exciting enough to resemble real success. It felt like an endless flat road without any destination. The Plateau began whispering dangerous ideas directly into Noah's mind. Maybe you have already reached the limit of your ability. Maybe this routine was never truly right for you anyway. Maybe others improve faster because they are naturally better equipped. Comparison hurt because Noah could not see his own progress. One evening, Noah nearly skipped his entire carefully built routine. He wanted just one day completely free from demanding effort. Then one imagined day quickly expanded into an entire week. That imagined week became permission to disappear from everything completely. The old version of Noah seemed ready to return again. He felt the familiar pull of comfort drawing him backward. Stopping promised immediate relief from uncertainty, frustration, and repeated effort. Continuing promised nothing visible that Noah could clearly recognize yet. That is exactly why long plateaus become so psychologically dangerous. They quietly make quitting appear completely logical and reasonable instead. That night, Noah opened the glowing notebook once again. Its pages remained completely blank while Noah waited in silence. Then one simple golden image slowly appeared before his eyes. It showed a small seed buried beneath dark, heavy soil. Above the ground, nothing visible showed any sign of growth. Below, powerful golden roots spread outward in every possible direction. The notebook revealed the hidden truth behind meaningful long-term progress. Growth often happens somewhere you cannot measure or observe yet. Strength develops internally long before its results become visibly obvious. Knowledge connects quietly before it becomes confidence and clear understanding. Skills organize internally before they become smooth, quick, and automatic. Discipline strengthens before your external life starts looking noticeably different. The plateau was not necessarily empty, useless, or without progress. Sometimes powerful construction was happening quietly beneath the visible surface. Noah had mistaken hidden growth for failure and wasted effort. Next, the notebook showed Noah a wide frozen winter river. For many days, the surrounding temperature rose only slightly higher. Yet the thick frozen ice appeared completely unchanged from outside. One warmer day was still not enough to melt it. Even 2 warmer days could not melt the frozen surface. Several warmer days still produced no visible change or result. Then the temperature finally crossed one critical hidden threshold point. The frozen ice cracked almost instantly across the entire river. What looked sudden had actually been building quietly for days. The final degree received nearly all the attention and praise. But every earlier degree had made that breakthrough completely possible. Noah finally understood why people often misunderstand visible success stories. They notice the dramatic breakthrough that everyone can easily observe. They rarely notice the quiet preparation occurring before that breakthrough. The plateau was simply preparation happening without recognition or applause. The next morning, Noah decided to test the notebook's lesson. He would continue following his routine for 14 additional days. He would stop demanding visible proof from himself every morning. Instead, he measured his actions rather than immediate visible outcomes. Did he simply show up and begin the planned activity? Did he complete the smallest acceptable version of that action? Did he return again after experiencing one especially difficult day? Those 3 questions became his new and more reliable measurements. Day 1 still felt completely ordinary and almost disappointingly familiar. Day 3 felt nearly identical to everything he had done. Day 6 brought no dramatic or easily noticeable external change. Day 9 deeply tested Noah's patience and remaining self-belief again. Day 11 made quitting feel painfully tempting to him again. But Noah remembered the powerful roots growing beneath empty soil. So he completed the smallest version and continued moving forward. On day 12, something small but meaningful finally changed inside. The difficult book suddenly felt easier for Noah to follow. A confusing concept finally connected clearly inside his focused mind. His workout no longer required a long internal argument beforehand. His body began moving before resistance had time to grow. At work, he solved one problem much faster than usual. The improvement was too small for anyone else to notice. But Noah noticed the difference immediately and quietly smiled afterward. The hidden roots had finally reached the visible surface above. On day 13, growing confidence began replacing his usual hesitation. By day 14, the routine felt like part of Noah. The plateau had never actually been blocking Noah's continued progress. It had been compressing repeated effort into deeper internal strength. Then all that stored energy finally released and moved upward. Noah reached a level he could not access before then. For some time, progress became exciting and visible once again. His reading speed and understanding both improved noticeably over time. His workouts became stronger, smoother, and more controlled each day. His work became more focused, creative, polished, and consistently effective. Then, several months later, another long plateau appeared before Noah. This time, Noah remained calm instead of becoming deeply afraid. He immediately recognized the familiar silence of that flat landscape. He knew the missing excitement would eventually return again later. He knew invisible roots were growing beneath this plateau too. He carefully adjusted only what genuinely needed improvement or change. He rested whenever his body truly required proper physical recovery. He asked for guidance whenever his method needed serious improvement. But he never confused slow progress with absolutely zero progress. He kept showing up without demanding recognition, praise, or applause. The plateau became a place of patience instead of fear. Most people fail not because they cannot genuinely improve themselves. They fail because improvement stays invisible for far too long. They expect every effort to reward them almost immediately afterward. When rewards arrive late, they assume their system is broken. But meaningful growth almost never follows one perfectly straight line. It moves through bursts, pauses, and periods of hidden construction. A flat section does not necessarily mean the journey ends. Sometimes your next level is being built quietly underneath there. When progress becomes quiet, do not immediately abandon your path. Honestly examine whether your current method still makes practical sense. Reduce the habit when the full version feels unmanageable today. Rest whenever your body truly needs time for proper recovery. Ask someone for help whenever you become genuinely stuck there. Never mistake invisible growth for effort that was completely wasted. Your breakthrough may already be forming directly beneath your feet. Noah thought success was a giant leap that only special people could make. Every morning, he looked at his dreams and felt instantly overwhelmed. The more he wanted to change, the less he knew where to start. So he did what many people quietly do. He delayed everything again. The room was messy, the desk was buried, and his energy was gone. His phone kept stealing hours while his goals watched from the wall. At night, he promised tomorrow would finally be different. But morning always arrived faster than his motivation. One day, something strange happened before dawn. A small notebook was waiting on his desk, though he never placed it there. Its cover held just 4 words, "Start smaller than that." Noah opened it slowly, expecting some secret shortcut to success. Instead, the first page showed only one sentence. If a task feels hard, make it ridiculously easy. Noah frowned because the advice felt almost too simple to matter. Then he turned the page and found a drawing of a tiny domino. Below it, another sentence appeared in shining letters. One small move can wake up an entire chain. That idea stayed fixed in Noah's head long after sunrise. So, the next morning, he tried the experiment. He did not force a perfect routine or a giant comeback. He simply sat up when the alarm rang. Then, he folded his blanket and made the bed. That tiny action gave him a strange feeling of control. Next, he drank 1 glass of water. It was ordinary siffment. It felt like a signal. His body seemed to understand that the day had started. The notebook then showed him the next rule. Sopshire, never fight the whole mountain. Step on one stone. So when he thought about exercise, he stopped imagining a brutal workout. He got down and did one push-up. His arms shook like wet noodles. He laughed, rested, and wrote a small check mark. The next day, he did 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. The changes were tiny, almost invisible from the outside. But inside, something important had shifted. He was no longer waiting to feel ready. He was becoming the kind of person who begins. That identity change spilled into other parts of life. A thick book used to scare him instantly. Now, he opened it and read just 2 pages. He stopped asking, "Can I finish this whole book?" Instead, he asked, "Can I read for 4 minutes?" That question was gentle enough to answer with yes. 4 minutes became a habit that returned every evening. Pages slowly became chapters. Sads, praises. Chapters slowly became finished books. The boy who used to avoid reading now loved quiet learning. Then another challenge appeared: his scattered attention. Whenever he tried to focus, distractions attacked from every side. The notebook gave him a new instruction: make bad habits far away and good habits close. So Noah's placed his phone in a locked box. He removed game devices and random clutter from his desk. He left only a notebook, a pen, and one open task. Suddenly, focus became easier because confusion had fewer places to hide. For the first time in months, he finished deep work without panic. That small win felt better than endless scrolling ever had. This end. Then he tested the same idea with money. He was not rich, and that had always discouraged him. Still, he dropped 1 coin into the jar. The sound was tiny, but oddly powerful. The next day, he added another coin. Soon, the jar no longer looked empty. Later, he created 3 jars: spend, save, and learn. Money stopped feeling like chaos and started feeling like direction. But growth is never a perfectly clean climb. One terrible week broke his rhythm completely. He slept late, ignored the notebook, and drowned in old habits. The room became messy again, and guilt rushed in fast. He stared to the pressure and felt like a fraud. That was the moment most people quit for good. But the notebook opened by itself to one final warning. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is a new habit. Noah took a deep breath and made one small rescue move. He cleaned one corner of the room. Oops. Then he drank water. Again. Then he read 1 page, not 20. He did 1 push-up, not 50. It looked unimpressive, but the comeback had already begun. That day taught him a secret trance most people ignore. Falling off track is normal. Returning is what builds power. Weeks later, his outside world began reflecting his inside change. His posture became straighter, and his eyes more alert. His room stayed cleaner because cleaning had become automatic. His workouts grew longer without feeling terrifying. His reading sessions grew deeper and more enjoyable. His savings jars started representing future possibilities, and his mind became quieter because fewer promises were being broken. Then a new door opened. Speaking in front of others. Public speaking had always terrified him, more than failure itself. So he used the fearsome to save teams again. He did not aim to inspire a crowd. On day 1, he only practiced speaking for 30 seconds alone. The next day, he practiced for 1 minute. Then he spoke to 1 friend. Spoke to Austrianen. Then to 3 people. Then to a small room. Then to a Sal's Pranza. Months later, Noah stood beneath bright stage lights. The crowd listened carefully, as he's told them a simple truth. Big lives are usually built by embarrassingly small beginnings. People nodded, because they saw their own struggles in his story. Noah realized his greatest progress was not visible in muscles or money. It was visible in the person he had become. He trusted himself now because he kept small promises. He understood that discipline was not punishment. It was self-respect repeated in tiny actions. One return after off-fear was the highest form of self-respect. Soon, the staircase that once looked impossible felt different. It was still long, but no longer frightening. Because no one no longer stared at the top. He simply watched his next step and took it. Nust. Then, another. Another second sound. Then, another. Behind him, thousands of tiny steps had already changed his life. Ahead of him, even greater dreams were finally within reach. If you feel lost right now, do not wait for a miracle. Choose one small action and let it begin the chain, because one tiny step repeated daily can quietly rewrite everything.
Sometimes the road ahead resembles an endless staircase into gray clouds. Standing below it, we feel exhausted before taking one step. We want to rush upward and conquer everything in one moment. But rushing makes us slip, fall, and lose our confidence. After repeated failures, we sit down while time passes quietly. We imagine becoming healthier, calmer, organized, confident, and truly productive. Yet reality finds us surrounded by clutter and constant distractions. Our phones hold our attention while precious hours silently disappear. The staircase remains ahead, but we cannot find the beginning. Then one tiny step suddenly begins glowing inside the darkness. Someone shows the path and hands us one tiny seed. It seems far too small to change anything important. Yet one bright dot stands apart among countless ordinary circles. A little ball can trigger a chain across the room. A tiny snowball grows larger while rolling down the mountain. Every powerful transformation can begin with something nearly invisible. So we stop climbing the entire staircase in one attempt. We focus only on the first step directly before us. One small movement still carries us closer to the light. The alarm rings and two voices argue inside our minds. One requests more sleep. The other asks us to rise. This time, we do not demand a perfect morning. We simply sit up, straighten the blanket, and make the bed. Then we pour one glass of water and drink it. Nothing dramatic happens, but our first promise is completed. When exercising, we avoid demanding an impossible first workout. Even one push-up makes our arms shake and struggle. Still, that single repetition becomes a genuine beginning. The following day, we return and complete slightly more. 1 becomes 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. Small marks appear, proving our quiet effort is accumulating. What felt impossible slowly becomes familiar, normal, and manageable. We look in the mirror and notice someone changing. Progress is not exploding above. It is growing underneath. Like a seed, change first builds roots beneath the soil. Only later does a green shoot reach the sunlight. That first leaf feels almost like witnessing a miracle. But the miracle came from caring for it daily. Learning follows the same pattern of manageable, repeated effort. A thick book feels mountainous when viewed all at once. A tall stack can defeat us before we begin. So we open one book and read only 2 pages. Tomorrow, we read 2 more and mark the calendar. 2 pages seem tiny, but repeated pages create chapters. Chapters become books, and books become knowledge within us. The towering stack no longer appears like an enemy. We sit calmly and let understanding grow page by page. A creative skill also starts with something awkward and simple. Our first circle may look uneven, weak, and embarrassing. We draw again, repeating the same movement patiently. Frame after frame, our hand steadies and our vision sharpens. Eventually, the empty screen becomes a colorful, finished artwork. Talent grows through hundreds of repetitions nobody else sees. Money develops through the same patience and small decisions. At first, the savings jar holds one lonely coin. It looks ridiculous beside expensive objects demanding our attention. Phones, games, clothes, and sales pull us away. We place another coin inside and protect our goal. Day by day, coins slowly fill the empty jar. One jar
Several.
becomes each serving a meaningful purpose. We divide money among needs, savings, learning, and opportunities. Security grows from consistent choices, not one lucky moment. Still, life sometimes becomes crowded with too many responsibilities. Work, food, exercise, money, clocks, and alerts fall together. We fill the calendar, then wish to erase everything. Some days succeed, while others remain empty and unfinished. One missed mark can make the journey feel ruined. But one difficult day cannot erase weeks of progress. The important action is returning on the following day. We mark another box and patiently rebuild our rhythm. Instead of serving the calendar, we learn to guide it. We simplify the environment surrounding every habit we want. At night, clothes, shoes, and water wait beside us. We dress, take the bottle, and move before doubt. At the desk, unnecessary devices and cables disappear. Games, boxes, and distracting objects leave the workspace. Only essential tools remain beneath the warm desk lamp. The phone enters a locked box beyond easy reach. Notifications and social media crash against a protective shield. Inside this quiet space, attention finally begins breathing. We read beside warm light while a sleepy cat rests. Good environments make useful actions easier than distraction. Habits are not one enormous decision made once. They are signals and actions connected into repeating sequences. The clock, glass, shoes, calendar, and book become reminders. Each object quietly reveals what action should happen next. Wake, drink, move, work, learn, rest, and prepare. These actions form the steady rhythm of meaningful days. Stone after stone eventually becomes a dependable walking path. Every completed action creates another glowing point below. Bright steps appear where no visible road existed. From far away, the pathway still looks difficult. While walking, we only face the nearest step. The process will not always feel exciting or rewarding. Some days, even small weights make both arms tremble. Sweat falls, faces redden, and bodies beg to stop. Sometimes we collapse and lose another evening online. Wasted days stretch behind us like a heavy shadow. We may slip from the staircase toward the dark mountain. Falling never means the story has finally ended. A climber grips the rock, resets, and continues upward. When confused, we ask someone experienced for direction. A teacher, friend, or conversation can reveal the next step. Every lesson adds another section to our glowing staircase. Quiet effort eventually becomes visible to other people. Then we choose one important task and focus completely. We learn, practice, and solve problems with greater calm. First, we speak nervously before a small group. Later, we stand confidently before an entire crowded hall. What once frightened us becomes a place of strength. We stop drowning among screens, charts, and unfinished plans. We finish one meaningful task before beginning another. Small habits reveal the person we truly want to become. We choose reading, movement, saving, creating, learning, and growth. Repeated effort cracks the wall that once seemed unbreakable. One final strike opens sunlight and a wider life. Success was never one leap, but thousands of small steps. Drink one glass, read one page, save one coin. Place your foot on the first step before feeling ready. 1% daily can carry you beyond every old expectation.
Noah believed he had finally gained control over life. He woke, worked, read, and moved before motivation arrived. But one hidden enemy survived every improvement he made. It appeared harmless, bright, entertaining, and strangely inviting daily. That pleasant disguise was made its influence far more powerful. The true enemy was never the phone itself alone. It was endless searching for another effortless, rewarding moment. Every swipe promised something new within a single second. Every short video erased boredom before discomfort could grow. At first, Noah believed he was simply resting briefly. Then one harmless clip quietly multiplied into 5 more. 20 clips became an hour he could never recover. When Noah looked up, the room had become darker. His body felt tired despite doing nothing physically difficult. Worst of all, he no longer wanted to begin. Easy rewards made ordinary effort feel painfully slow afterward. Even one important project suddenly felt almost impossible today. He trained his attention to expect novelty and excitement. That evening, Noah opened the mysterious glowing notebook again. A new warning appeared across the quietly glowing page. What feels harmless today can become tomorrow's invisible cage. Noah slowly examined the smartphone resting inside his hand. It resembled a machine controlling his very next decision. But the notebook revealed another important hidden warning nearby. Ignoring a trigger never destroys the underlying habit completely. You must redesign whatever action follows that trigger instead. The next morning, Noah carefully began observing his behavior. He noticed his phone appeared whenever work became uncertain. He reached for it whenever exercise started feeling uncomfortable. The trigger was not always simple ordinary boredom alone. Sometimes the real trigger was confusing uncertainty during work. Sometimes it was overwhelming stress pressing against him heavily. Sometimes fear of performing badly pushed him toward escape. The phone offered instant escape from every difficult feeling. Noah realized stronger willpower was not what he needed. He needed fewer automatic routes leading toward easy escape. So he redesigned the first 10 minutes each morning. The phone stopped sleeping conveniently beside his pillow nightly. Instead, it charged inside a box near the door. A simple alarm clock replaced his phone each morning. Using the phone now required several deliberate physical steps. That small distance created something unexpectedly powerful inside him. It created one pause between impulse and automatic action. Inside that pause, Noah remembered what he truly wanted. He applied the same principle throughout his daily workspace. The phone entered a closed drawer before work began. Noah did not eliminate all entertainment from his life. He removed distractions from the pathway toward meaningful goals. The first focus session felt deeply uncomfortable and unfamiliar. His hand automatically moved toward the closed desk drawer. His mind instantly produced convincing and urgent excuses again. But Noah stayed firmly seated inside his working chair. He watched the craving rise like a powerful wave. Then it slowly fell without ever being obeyed once. Noah discovered an urge was never an unavoidable command. After the urge passed, his task became much easier. 10 focused minutes gradually expanded into 25 strong minutes. Those 25 minutes quickly created visible, meaningful project progress. Real progress produced satisfaction that remained much longer afterward. For once, Noah clearly understood the difference between rewards. Lasting satisfaction remained inside him as genuine confidence afterward. He created one new rule governing entertainment and leisure. Enjoy entertainment deliberately, never unconsciously or accidentally ever again. He disabled automatic notifications across every distracting application immediately. As the phone quieted, Noah's mind became quieter too. But progress soon invited another difficult emotional test unexpectedly. One weekend, Noah felt deeply exhausted, isolated, and lonely. He opened one cheerful video hoping to improve mood. Hours later, he remained there, still continuously watching alone. The old addictive loop returned much faster than expected. When the screen darkened, painful shame immediately appeared inside. Noah nearly declared the entire experiment a complete failure. Then the notebook reminded him of an older lesson. A relapse provides information, not a permanent personal identity. So Noah asked himself one more useful question instead. What feeling was he desperately trying to escape today? The honest answer was simply loneliness beneath everything else. The following weekend, Noah prepared a healthier, different response. When loneliness returned, he called one trusted close friend. When exhaustion appeared, he allowed himself a real nap. When stress arrived, he walked quietly without headphones outside. Each trigger received an answer matching its actual need. The old escape loop gradually lost its controlling power. Weeks passed and Noah's attention slowly began returning again. He could read longer without constantly seeking new stimulation. He worked through confusion instead of escaping toward distraction. He could sit quietly without needing constant noise nearby. Boredom stopped feeling like an emergency demanding immediate escape. Instead, boredom transformed into a doorway toward possibility itself. Behind boredom, Noah discovered new ideas waiting patiently inside. Behind silence, he discovered clarity and calmer thinking again. Behind discomfort, he discovered genuine growth becoming possible slowly. Then Noah noticed something deeply unexpected about everyday life. His days did not feel less enjoyable afterward either. They felt more vivid, grounded, meaningful, and entirely real. Even ordinary conversations became richer and more interesting again. Attention had always been the missing ingredient in experience. Whatever received Noah's full attention began feeling alive again. One afternoon, Noah returned to his familiar rooftop alone. The city below flashed with endless promises and stimulation. Every glowing light competed to become his next thought. Noah understood that competition would never willingly stop itself. There would always be another new video waiting nearby. Another message would always appear behind the previous message. Another game would open beyond the game already completed. Another effortless reward would arrive upon the endless conveyor. The world would never protect Noah's attention for him. He had to decide what truly deserved that attention. Look closely at what owns your next 10 minutes. Do not begin by destroying every possible distraction immediately. Begin instead by creating one small deliberate pause first. Move the phone farther away from your immediate reach. Place the book closer beside your working hand instead. Turn off one notification that repeatedly interrupts your mind. Finish one meaningful task before opening one distracting application. Allow boredom to simply exist for 60 quiet seconds. Notice the urge clearly without automatically obeying its demand. Then choose the action your future will actually remember. Because attention is more than whatever you currently see. Attention is what your entire life slowly becomes eventually.